Hey guys, how you doing? It's Voodoo here and welcome to episode 26 in my Call of Duty Black Ops 2 Emblem editor series. Today we're taking a look at the Mountain Dew logo, which has been fairly hotly requested. Lots of you guys have been asking for it and took a little bit of work in this. A lot of sort of twiddling about, free scaling and getting stuff done. So if you feel happy with doing a lot of free scaling, then you can achieve this one pretty easily. One thing I will say as well is some people say the videos can be a little bit too fast. Just after each step that I do, please hit the pause button. That way you won't miss anything that I've done and you'll be able to keep up with the video really, because this one is not as fast as my early ones, but still it's a little bit still sped up because it took me about 50 minutes to do. So anyway, grab yourself a half heart and you want to free scale that up. And in the end, that ends just above the center line. I started on the center line on the grid, but it ends up just above the center line. And then you want to grab another half heart. Again, you want to free scale it. It's slightly smaller than the lower half heart. Why it's called half heart, I do not know, but it is nonetheless. So it takes a lot of faffing around. But once you get the base sorted, then it's quite easy to get everything else on there, but you need to get the base in the right place. So the right hand side half heart is above the center line and the left hand half heart is below the center line, because obviously we're going at an angle on this. Looks really cool. So you want to turn that green. That's going to be our green background. That way it's going to look really nice and pop on the gun. And then we're going to use a diamond, and you want to free scale that so the lines run parallel with both the half hearts, and it looks really sort of slick and it fills in the big areas, and we ain't got to mess around too much with other shapes. Very easy, very straightforward to do. Don't worry about the little gaps at the minute. We are going to be sort of moving things around and getting rid of them gaps, so it's all about just getting things in the right place, near or there or thereabouts, and just tweaking it just to get it absolutely perfect. But that's the sort of base layer of what we're doing. Now what you want to do is copy and paste the entire base layer like what I'm doing, turn it white, and then that's going to be the second part. So obviously the green's the outline of the emblem, and then the white bit's sort of like the main body of the actual emblem itself. Then we're going to put other things on top of that, and then you're going to see a few little tricks on how to spell the name out. So grab yourself another diamond. You want to turn that green so it's the same colour as the base layer. Make sure that the line runs parallel with the actual logo itself, and then that's going to be where the top of the T is going to sit on the Mountain Dew. There is another version of this emblem I'm thinking about doing in the future, but I've got a few more to get through first before we go there. Now I've grabbed the diamond. This is where the free scaling got a little bit tricky. Trying to get it to line up right took me ages, took a long time to get that absolutely spot on. But basically take a bit of time, keep free scaling and jiggling it about so the line on the left of the image and the top and bottom obviously sit right. It just takes you can twist it, free scale it, twist it, free scale it, and eventually you will get it right, but it does take a little bit of time. Like I said to you, it took me about 50 minutes to do this logo from scratch, and obviously I've edited out quite a lot of the mistakes I made, but it isn't too bad. You guys will have no trouble. So what we're going to do is we grabbed another half heart, and then we're going to put that over the top, have it white, and that's going to go over the top of that diamond, and we're going to start seeing that we're spelling out the M there. And basically that's what we're going to do for this whole image. We're going to put a base layer of the colour we want. Obviously the bottom bit will be red and the top bit's a darker green than the outline, and then we're going to overlay some shapes on there to make the letters. So used to do that a lot in Call of Duty Black Ops 1 in the Emblem series there. We used to do little things like that, but this one looks exceptionally good because obviously there's no layers on the back. The actual logo is just itself. It is like a sticker almost, like that you've put on the gun, rather than having a massive big square on the background and having to cover things up. What we're doing is here, we grabbed another half heart. I'm going to flip that round in a minute to make the M. Don't worry, because sometimes when you're starting to put these triangles and stuff on, it starts to look a bit odd. That just takes a little while to get it together, but it isn't too bad. Now I've grabbed the bone there, and what I'm doing is I'm freescaling that to get that just right. I do sort of change that a little bit towards the end, so please watch the videos all the way through first, and then you can see where I make slight alterations all the way. The reason I do it that way is because I record it for you guys. You see the emblem at the end of the video. The emblem you see is the exact same emblem you'll end up with. I don't sort of like show you a really good emblem and then make one that's not so good, so that's why it's like that. But I'm sure I do change this bone slightly in a little while. But I grabbed another diamond, and we're now finishing off that corner again. It's very tricky. It seems silly, but it's actually quite difficult to get these diamonds to sit right. But just take a bit of time freescaling them up to the right size, and then once the lines are all sitting nicely and correct, then you're okay. But there we've got a half tube, which basically you just sling that in the end. Just let the little curve at the bottom sit slightly up, so it adds a sort of bit more detail to the image, and that's going to be the part of the end, and you ain't got to do much to it. I would have liked more layers for this one. I've made the best of what I could out of this one. If I could have more layers, it could have been absolutely 100% polished, but it's still very good. Looks really cool. Had a lot of cool feedback from various people online last night when I was using it on my gun. A lot of people liked it, so I was really pleased with that. But we grabbed the rounded square and just freescaled that up to really skinny, and then cut that end off so it's all separate now. And we've got a diamond, and we're now starting to make the T. Now I did spend a lot of time trying to get this T to sit right, and as you can see, I took the bone out that I put on there earlier, but we're now trying it again with a bone again, but in a different way. So basically trying to get that T to look absolutely spot on took a lot of work. So obviously, like I said, you watch this video all the way through, you will see exactly how I did it, and you won't have to spend half as much time faffing about as what I did. But you can see the T's coming together quite nicely now, and it looks very simple on this video, and I'm glad, because that's what I was here for. If I made a tutorial and it was really difficult, then I'm not doing my job properly. Now we're just sort of fiddling about here. We grabbed another diamond, and we're putting that on top, and that's going to be the finishing touch on the T, and then that top part is all done and dusted. So we're now going to work on the bottom part, where we're going to put dew in, obviously again with the diamonds, freescaling away there. A little bit tricky, but once you can really expand them quite big, and you want to maximize the amount of sort of red you can use on that diamond, so you don't have to use too many layers. But same again, we're going to use a couple of diamonds on the bottom there, freescale them so the lines all sit right. Don't worry about that gap in the middle, we're going to sort that out in a minute. But just get them sitting quite nice. And with the diamond, you do need to freescale, twist it, freescale, twist it, just to get it spot on. I could have cut a lot of this sort of freescaling out, but I thought I'd show you guys that it isn't easy. It does take a lot of work, and that's why I've left it in there. But yeah, so what we're going to do is grab another half heart, and we're going to freescale that down, and that's now the beginning. The first part of the W is coming together, and all the sort of slightly uneven sizes of the lettering is how the original lettering is. It's a bit weird. The font they use is very strange, but still, it looks absolutely authentic, which is what we're after. So grab the triangle wide, that's going to be the bottom part of the W there in the middle of the W, and just move that around. Copied the half heart and flipped it and moved it across, and that's now starting to look, it's getting close to a W already, guys, I'm sure you'll agree. But yeah, so it's just a case of moving things around. What I've done is I've grabbed another one of the diamonds and copied that across and moved it over to the middle, and now we've got a nice full red bit at the bottom, so we can play around with it and get it looking just how we need it. But I'll just take this opportunity, guys, to let you know that obviously there's another 25 emblems before this. Check that out in the playlist. Before you leave a suggestion in the comments for what you'd like me to do, please check the playlist out first, because I'm getting a lot of guys asking me for emblems that I've already done, so please do that first. And also, if you want to check me out on Facebook and Twitter, feel free. It's IXIVoodooIXI all together on Twitter, and the same on Facebook. Search for me on there and you'll be able to see that, no problem. So on the image you just see me use a couple of half tubes. Basically I do change them out for curved lines in a minute, so don't worry too much about that. Also I'm using a round square now, and I go for a tube in the end, but it doesn't make a massive amount of difference, because at the size in which we're using these emblems, the squares and that isn't going to make a massive amount of difference whether you use a rounded square or a tube. But I went with the tubes in the end just because I thought they looked a little bit better. So like I say to you, just watch the video all the way through and you'll see where I make the mistakes. Generally I will let you know as well. So we're using the curved lines there, and that's sort of like making the dew look really funky and cool. I'm really pleased with that. We then take out the tube near the W, we copy and paste a curved line on there, and that sort of adds a sort of a bendy effect on the lettering, which I think looks really smart. So we're getting towards the end here, guys. The only thing we're going to do now, just to finish it off a little bit, is we're going to put a curved line over the top of the E just to round off the top there. You don't have to put that in. If you want to change something else, if you want to curve something else off or finish something else, feel free. Obviously we are using 32 layers, so all the layers are used up, but nevertheless I think it looks really cool. So what I'm doing here, guys, is like I said, I'm swapping out the rounded squares for a tube and a half tube on the E just to make it look that little bit better. Then I'm going to max out the thickness of the curved line as much as I can so it doesn't overlap the letters at the top and off the image at the bottom, but making it as thick as possible just to give it that sort of extra bit. But as always, if you could hit that like button, I'd really appreciate it. If you haven't already subscribed to me, please hit the subscribe button, and if you check me out on Facebook and Twitter, that way you'll never miss the videos entering your sub box, so I post them on there as soon as they go live on my channel. But we're just finishing off the E here with a curved line, not making it too thick so the E looks small, but just sort of rounding it off just to give it that final touch. But as always, guys, thanks ever so much for watching. Please don't forget to rate, comment and subscribe if you haven't already done so, and I shall see you in the next video. See you later, guys.